So it's sort of a message here on preparedness. There's a lot of instability, if you haven't noticed, in geopolitics, in the financial world, um, war potentialities and so forth. So I've mentioned it in a previous video. There might be reason to take some basic preparedness precautions. Um, I'm not an expert in this by any means. Go search out some experts if you'd like. The only thing that I can bring to you that they might not have is something of an integral lens. And what that can help me do is gradiate, for example, like through Abraham's hierarchy of needs and these sorts of things. So in his hierarchy, for example, there's survival orientation, then there's like safety needs, and then there's things like belongingness needs, safety, belongingness, self-esteem, and self-actualization. So if you have all the lower components met, then you can meet the higher, such as self-esteem and self-actualization. Within survival, there are some gradations some could make. So you can look at more longer-term survival and some more short-term survival. The shortest term, you could say, having some food preparations in order. You don't want to waste that sort of thing, so you want stuff that you'd probably eat, I suppose. And I wouldn't necessarily go overboard on it, but I do have some sort of MREs to some extent. I haven't been eating a lot of them, but I have ate some of them. But buying organic food and freeze-dried food and so forth that you're going to actually eat is probably a better idea if you can afford that and if you really are going to use it up. So beyond food, I say like things like non-GMO heirloom seeds are one of your best bets because they can be used as a currency and have been sort of historically in the Great Depression. They were sold in certain places for more than gold per ounce, and they also have the secondary great purpose of giving life-giving qualities of foodstuff, and helpful to neighbors if they need. So, a few dollars in that might be a good idea. This is just ideas, so I'm not saying do any of them necessarily. Next up, you might have a little bit of silver, perhaps some gold. Those are, in my mind, more basic level currencies. So, if an economic system, is in collapse mode, people are going to tend towards silver and gold depending on the depth of the collapse, I suppose. So those are good safeguards, at least historically they have been. They've held their value pretty well. They're not super useful, but they are somewhat useful, and currency has been one of them. I like a little bit of cash and a little bit of cryptocurrency. Those are more soft crashes, so if they can be used at least probably for some period of time. And I don't want to be an alarmist, and I'm not saying it's the end of the world or anything. I'm just saying these are some potential measures if we go into depression, recession, or something worse. I'm looking personally into a dehydrator. Perhaps, and I'm not going to take that action unless I think things are starting to go really bad. I'm looking into solar energy. I've looked into that many times and I've been passionate about it, but I've not had a house over my head to really justify it in any way. Or I've got a 3D printer, so I'm looking at potentially trying to 3D print a couple wind power generators. They won't power a lot, but it would be fun do-it-yourself project anyway, and excited about that. Water, always a good idea, but I think that's kind of like really dire straits if we need to get water and so forth. So yeah, I don't know, I'm just suggesting some basic preparedness ideas in case there is your ETB card. Is that what they use in the United States? I'm Canadian. Doesn't swipe anymore. You have some backup potentials here. Be well.